Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome back to the 8th episode of the Quick Bricks NBA DFS podcast. Another decent slate. Looks like we're going to have pretty decent slates all week. Hopefully I can get a pod out every single morning. I'm going to do my best. I might have to skip a day. It might be tomorrow. It might be Friday. I'm not sure yet. But anyways, just keep looking out for it. I'm going to do my best. Like I said, looks like we got kind of a 5 or 6 game slate tomorrow. So I might skip that one and might just get the Friday slate because it's quite bigger. Tonight, we have a 7-game slate, so you will get a pod, obviously. Last night was pretty brutal. I attacked the Portland and Houston game, and that was a big FU to me and anybody who listened to the pod yesterday, so I'll take the L on that one. Melo was pretty terrible. I'll take the L on that one for sure. But anyway, let's just let's forget about yesterday. Let's get into tonight. Tonight's a pretty good slate. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you have a lot of good games, a lot of good totals. So let's just jump right in. Detroit at Brooklyn. Detroit on the back-to-back. We got Brooklyn here as a home favorite, 2.5 points. That's kind of weird. It kind of shows you a little bit about how Vegas thinks about Detroit on a back-to-back tonight. And I actually like Brooklyn tonight. Total at 214. I think you can play just about any net, honestly. I mean, they're all priced very well. They're all in good spots, I feel. Jared Allen at 5.3, he put up 39 fantasy points against Detroit in their first game of the season. So he's definitely a good look tonight at 5.3. RHJ, it looks like he's back to full strength. He's been played 27 minutes last game, put up 30.3 fantasy points. They're going to definitely need him, obviously, tonight against Blake and Drummond down low. He's a pretty good defender. He's also a pretty good scorer. So getting him back is just going to be a huge boost for the Nets. You can play DAR. He's 5.9. He let me down the other night, so I'm basically telling him to fuck off. But, if you want to play DAR, I got no problem with it. It's a good spot. But honestly, for me, I think I'll be looking at Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's going to be one of your better buy lows tonight. He's 4.8, 24 or more minutes. It looks like he's had in 6 of his 7 games so far this season. He has put up 3 games or more of 27 or more fantasy points. 3 games of 27 or more fantasy points, my fault. 4.8, man. He's very, very cheap for one of the main backups that the Nets have. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. So for Detroit, obviously you're going to look at the usual suspects with Drummond, Griffin. Drummond's 9K, Griffin 9.4. Both of them. Drummond had a 54 fantasy point game against them last game, and Blake had 45. So both of them had monster games against them last game, first game of the season. But like I said, RHJ's back. That's going to be a nice help on the defensive side of the ball for the Nets as well, down low. Other than those two, I mean, I think you can look at Ish at 4.5. He should get meaningful minutes tonight, and at 4.5K, it's not a bad price at all. But that's all that I really care about in Detroit and Brooklyn. Let's move on to what I feel will probably be more of the chalky game of the night. Other than Dallas and the Lakers, it's going to be Denver at Chicago. 225 on the total looks like to be the highest total on the board so far. We don't have a total for the Pelicans and Golden State because we're looking for to see if AD is going to play. Actually, this is the second one. I forgot. Dallas and the Lakers, obviously, that chalk game. 234 on that total. So at the time, and we also don't have a line for San Antonio and Phoenix. But obviously, I like this game as well. Denver comes in as a 7.5 point road favorite here against Chicago. We know Chicago has not been good. And I think Chicago will probably throw the whole kitchen sink at them tonight. So I think there's going to be a lot of value. It just kind of depends on if you pick the right ones. Zach LaVine, you obviously know. He's 7.4, though, tonight. He will get Gary Harris. I get that. Gary Harris has been a really good defender. But LaVine is eating up usage. Obviously, no Chris Dunn still. Cameron Payne sucks a major dick. So I would definitely be looking at LaVine at 7.4. I wish he did a little more than just score, but, I mean, on any night he can score 40 points. So, obviously, he's put up 35, 43.5, and 41.3 in his last 3 home games. So, obviously, really nice value there on him at 7.4. I think you can look at Wendell Carter Jr., although it's not the best matchup against Jokic down low, but he's 4.9. He's had 31 or more fantasy points in his last 2 games. They're putting him out there. They're letting him play. He's got a very, very, admirable price here at 4.9. I think you can definitely look at Wendell Carter Jr. So, yeah, there looks like if you want to look at the punt and the point guard spot, looks like they threw 3 or 4 different players out last game. Blakeney had 27 minutes or 27 fantasy points. Arcia Danko had a pretty decent game, and they also threw out Shaq Harrison, and he played 18 minutes, put up 24 fantasy points, and he's 3.3K. They are exploring that option. Shaq Harrison was a pretty good scorer last year for Phoenix whenever he did get the chance to play. I think he's a decent punt option if you want to go there. I think it looks like Arcia Danko is going to probably get. He's the backup right now at the campaign. That's what it looks like. Blakeney got plenty of run last game because obviously Golden State was shitting on him all over the game. Had already had 100 points by halftime. We know Clay broke the record. We don't need to talk about it. We saw it. A lot of players. Well, some people in the SD Slack chat actually had Clay that night, so props to those guys. I did not. Anyway, so Levine, Wendell Carter. I think you can look at those 3 point guard spots with Shaq Harrison, Arcia Danko, and Blakeney. If you feel like punting one of those, I think, honestly, like I said, it's a carousel right now, so it's kind of hard to determine which one you want to play. And I'll probably look a little bit further into that one later on. But for now, that's where I'm going to go with that. Jokic, obviously, at 9.7. How do you not play Jokic? He's actually seeing the highest usage on the team for the road games. They've only played, I think, 2 or 3. But he's seeing 27.1% usage rate in road games. And the next closest is like 22.4. So, and that's Jamal Murray, 22.4 on the road. Murray's 7.0K. 7K, Murray, I think you can probably find a better spot than Murray. I think Monty Morris at 4.3, he's been getting lots of good minutes. He's seeing about 18% usage so far, 18% on the road, sorry. But 4.3K, Monty Morris is definitely worth a look. Trey Lyles, I think at 4.3, he's only been seeing average about 19 minutes on the road, but he's still getting good usage, still putting up decent numbers at 4.3. I think that's a really nice play if you want to go there. So that's really all that I'm going for in Denver and Chicago. Jokic, Monty Morris, Trey Lyles. You can play Murray if you want. I don't hate it, but probably won't be on him. For Chicago, Levine, Wendell Carter, and then the carousel of point guards that I will get into later, probably in the SD Slack chat. So if you're in there, we'll chat about it. So let's move on to Utah and Minnesota. Utah at Minnesota. Utah coming in as a 2.5-point road favorite here against Minnesota with a total of 222. This game has some potential, and the total is not really bad. Obviously, you got Rubio returning back to Minnesota in his revenge narrative here, if you're into that sort of thing. So Rubio at 5.6, he is returning back to Minnesota, if you're into that sort of thing. I think you can also look at Gobert at 7.9. He's put up 45 or more fantasy points in 3 of his 4 road games. He's been pretty good on the road. I think he will go overlooked quite a bit tonight. Obviously, if AD plays, I think he'll definitely go overlooked. So Gobert at 7.9 is definitely contrarian. I don't hate it. He's obviously killing value, like I said, in 3 of his 4 road games already at 7.9. So if you want to go there, I don't hate it. I like it. Go for it. Crowder at 5.2. Obviously, if Favors does not make it, that will obviously be a lot stronger. But Crowder's been seeing a lot of minutes anyways. He's been playing. He's the first guy off the bench. He's been playing a lot of minutes. So 5.2 on Crowder. Don't hate it. I actually kind of like it. For Minnesota, Butler, your usual suspect at 8.2. He's going to get that white boy Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is long and lanky, man. And I don't know. He might get Donovan Mitchell. I don't know yet. I'll have to look into that one a little bit more too. But anyways, Butler 8.2. He'll be chalk. You know that. He's always chalk. I think you can look at Derrick Rose again at 4.9. Shade under 5K. He's gotten 27 or more minutes in every single game this year. Wiggins continuing to be out maybe. He's questionable again. You look at Josh Okogie. Once again, he put up 35 fantasy points in 30 minutes last game. He's been a heck of a value for Minnesota so far. So definitely look at Okogie if Wiggins decides to be a taint again and sit out. Teague, I think, is your best buy low tonight other than Dinwiddie. Jeff Teague is 5.4K tonight, fellas and ladies. I hate to use the word due, but I think that he is due here. I think that with this total, I think there's going to be some scoring. And I think Teague, obviously getting the minutes that he gets, he's getting 25 to 30 a game. Derrick Rose is kind of eating into that a little bit. But if you look at his past games, he's been awful. But at the same time, it seems like he can put up 9 or 10 assists on any given night. He just can't match the point scoring total with that. And when he does, he's going to have a monster game. And I think he's due for a breakout. 2 for 12. 2 of 10, 5 of 12, 2 of 9, 5 of something. He literally has not hit over 5 shots in a game all year. When his shot starts falling, he's going to have a monster game, and he's 5.4 getting starter minutes in a kind of a decent looking pace up matchup here with a 222 total. So it's up to you. It's personal preference. I think I'll play a little bit of Teague tonight. I think he's in a good spot. I'll play Teague. You can do what you want. So, with that said, Rubio, narrative, if you're into that. Gobert, really like it. Crowder, really like it. Butler, obviously. Derrick Rose, 4.9, can't hate it. He hasn't exactly blew the doors off the crushing the fantasy total there value, but he's getting meaningful minutes, and we always know more opportunity means more. That's what you look for. Josh Okogie, again, being very cheap, he still is. If Wiggins is out, 35 fantasy points last game, definitely. And Teague. So that's where I'm going in Utah and Minnesota. Let's move right along. Indy and the Knicks. Not a big favorite of this game. Indy coming in as a 6-point road favorite. 211 on the total. Very low total. I don't know what the fuck David Fizdale's doing over there with the Knicks. I think Cantor probably is better off the bench because it seems like he comes in pissed off because he didn't start, and then he just goes haywire like he did last game, put up 37.3 fantasy points in about 26 minutes. But then again, it's really hard to pay 6.6K for a bench player. But we know Cantor's usage is very high. So if you feel like playing Cantor, I don't hate it. I will not judge you. THJ at 6.8, we already know that he leads the team in usage. He's going to get his shots. He's going to play. He is very high price for this kind of a matchup with this low total. So, I'm probably not going to have a lot of this game. I just don't see it. I don't think you need a whole lot of it. I think you can pick and choose here and there. I don't hate Noah Vonleh at 4.3. He's put up 25.3 and 27 fantasy points in his last 2 since he's gotten the start. Kevin Knox is still out, so he's getting meaningful minutes. Played over 22 minutes in his last 2. So, get good minutes, 4.3K, not bad fantasy total output there. So Vonleh, don't hate it. For Indy, I think Bogdanovic at 4.9 is a good look. I think Sabonis at 5.8 is a good look. Collison, I think, is another good buy low. He's actually been coming across here the last 2 games. 32 or more fantasy points in his last 2. He's getting 30 minutes or more. You can't hate it at 4.7. Darren Collison at 4.7. I think you need to look there. It's not a bad look. So Darren Collison, I think, is another great buy low tonight. So that's all that I really care for in that game. Let's move along to the Pelicans and the Golden State, which will obviously be your mega chalk of the night, other than Dallas and the Lakers. Obviously, you're going to want to play all the bigs for the Pelicans because they're the ones that have been doing most of the heavy lifting. Mirotic, Randall, make sure AD, I'm sure he'll probably want to play as much as he can playing against Golden State, but who knows? He's already been ruled out pretty early the last couple of games that he's missed, so we should know that news pretty early, I feel. Obviously, if he is out, you will want to play Mirotic and Randall because, they're both going to see lots of minutes. They're both going to see most of the usage. Drew Holiday, I probably won't play tonight. I'm not feeling him. I just don't like it really. Other than that, I think you can maybe look at punting Tim Frazier. Played 20 minutes last game. We know Elf is out again. He kind of split time with Frank Jackson. Jackson got 26 minutes, but he's not putting up very good numbers. Tim Frazier come in off the bench, put up pretty decent numbers, 20 minutes. He's real cheap, 3.3K or so, 3.4. If you want to look there, I don't care. For Golden State, I think the only player you really care about is Steph at 9.8. Obviously, if there's no AD, this game could get out of hand very, very quickly. We saw what they did to the Bulls the other night. None of them played in the fourth quarter, probably not even half of the third. So, obviously, Clay, because he was chasing a record, but most of the other guys didn't really play much. So, I'll be looking at Steph maybe at 9.8, but I think just for the, I'll have to see if AD's in or out. So, that's really all I care about for Golden State. I mean, you can play what you want, but I'm not totally, I'll have to see, like I said. With the news coming out later, we'll see. Move along. Let's go to Dallas and the Lakers, where this obviously will be another major chalk. 234 on the total, highest total on the board so far. Lakers come in as a 7-point home favorite against Dallas here, which is pretty crazy. Your usual suspects here: LBJ at 11.3. LBJ is $11,300 tonight, so be wary of that. I mean, if you want to play him, he's going to need 60 points. So. That's how you have to look at it. Can he get you 60 points? Sure he can, but will he? And he has to have it. So, anyway, Rondo coming in as a revenge game here. We know he played for Dallas for a short stint. He did not like it. They did not like him. Rondo actually got over 30 minutes last game, played more than Lonzo, so definitely be looking at Rondo. He's pretty cheap. I think JaVale's not a bad play at 5.7. My cheap play in this game is going to be Lance Stevenson. Although he hasn't, his minutes are sporadic, but he's been putting up pretty damn good numbers. Not great numbers, but he's killing value, and definitely at 4.2. So Lance Stevenson, I'll be looking there. For Dallas, everybody's going to be on Luka Doncic at 7.3. He's the face of Dallas. He's going to be chalk. Everybody knows him now, so I'll probably be fading him. But it's hard to fade. It's not hard for me, but a lot of people will play him. And if you do, I won't judge you. He's very good. Barnes at 5.5 has played 34 minutes in his last two games. He's back. He's full speed. He's full strength. That Dallas needed that. I don't know if it'll help him much tonight. But, the Lakers haven't been playing good, fellas. I mean, they haven't won a game in, 4 or 5 games? They're like 2-7 or something like that. So, Barnes, 5.5, don't hate it. DSJ at 5.9, especially if Rondo's playing 30 minutes a game, I will have some DSJ. We know that Rondo doesn't defend very well. DSJ seems to be a really good play at 5.9, so I'll definitely be looking there. Last game of the night, San Antonio at Phoenix. Give me some DeAndre Ayton. Give me all the Ayton. I love DeAndre Ayton tonight. He's gonna be the roster monster for me. 7.1K. He's put up 45 and 47.8 in his last 2 home games. Only 2 home games. But at that price, he's killing value. San Antonio really doesn't have anybody to guard him. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge, sure, but I see Ayton having a pretty nice game, so I'm gonna be playing a lot of Ayton. TJ Warren at 5.3 I think is a good look. Josh Jackson's struggling very, very mightily. Warren's still not getting a whole ton of minutes because he's splitting with Ariza, but Warren is that punch off the bench, that scoring effort that they need. He has the upside. We've seen it. He put up 40 fantasy points in 23 or 4 minutes already once this year. So TJ Warren at 5.3, don't hate it if you want to get him in there. Eli Akobo at 3.7K. Played 30 minutes last game, put up 34.8 fantasy points. Isaiah Kanan left the game early. He got most of the minutes afterwards. He did really, really well. I would probably place him at Akobo or not, because even if Kanan's a game time decision, if he does sit, he might be chalk, but I think it'll be good chalk. At 3.7, it's pretty much a free square, fellas. So, Eli Akobo at 3.7. Make sure Kanan is out before you definitely lock him in. Definitely lock, but I'll probably play a little bit anyway. I think he probably gets some more run after that last game, obviously. For San Antonio, DeRozan and Rudy Gay. DeRozan at 9.5, 60 or more in 3 of his last 4 games. The guy's been just totally killing it. And Rudy Gay's been playing really well. 6.1K, put up 43.5 and 45.8 fantasy points in his last 2 games. Played over 30 minutes. So Rudy Gay, DeRozan. Yeah, I think that's where you go there. So DeAndre Ayton, get him in. Like I said, I think there's great buy lows with Dinwiddie, with the carousel of Chicago point guards that I'm not really sure what I'm looking at yet. Jeff Teague, Darren Collison, Lance Stevenson, I think, is a nice buy low. Rondo, I think, is in a good spot. And I'm just looking over the paper and naming off stuff. Obviously, all that I've went over so far, you know who I like. So it's been 20 minutes. This has been my longest pod for a minute, and it's only a 7-game slate. But I felt like it was a really good slate. I felt like there's a lot of content in it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy your Wednesday. And let's chat later in the SC Slack chat. I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys over the slate. I really like these 7-game slates because it feels like you can concentrate in more on each game, especially, compared to like a 10 or 11 game slate whenever it's just like everywhere. Ownership is definitely not going to be as spread out tonight, so you do need to pick and choose really well. But I think I laid down a pretty good basis. So anyways, enjoy your Wednesday. I'll chat with you guys later. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.